points of scope of pharmacognosy. Right. So today we are going to discuss about the scope and development of pharmacognosy. What are the developments occur in the 19th first half of 19th century and the second half of 19th century. Right. So coming to the first half of 19th century, under the development of pharmacognosy, in the slide in the first you can see that the second half of the 19th century brought with a number of important discoveries in the newly developing field of chemistry and witnessed the rapid progress of this science. Right. So here under the history we discussed that lot of contribution treatise or the manual has been written by the different scientists. They have told about the different constituents. Then coming to the 19th century, what happened, the number of important discoveries is the sense they started identifying the constituents from the plant. Suppose given the example that nicotine from tobacco or morphine from opium, so like that they started discovering the particular type of constituents which is present in the plant, which can be isolate and it can be used further for the fast therapeutic value or more therapeutic value, right? And also newly developing field of chemistry, right? So once if you'll come to know what is the chemistry behind the chemical constituent, it will be easy to understand it's what is going to be the activity of that particular chemical constants. If you will started categorizing the drug belongs to which category, alkaloid, glycoside, tannin, resin, volatile, what category, so that discovery started in the first half, means 1991 to 1950, that is called the first half of the 19th century. Second point I am reading in the slide, that is medicinal plants became one of its major objects of interest, and in time phytochemists succeeded in isolating the pure active constituents, right? So that's what I told you, they succeeded onto the isolating. So instead of using the entire crude drug in a whole form, if you will be able to isolate or separate that particular chemical constants which is responsible to give the therapeutic value, and if it will be incorporated into the dosage form or it will be administered to the patient, it will give the more activity or more therapeutic value. Third point under the slide, these active constituents replaced the crude drugs. Instead of using crude drugs, they started using the constituents or isolates. With the development of semi-synthetic and synthetic medicine, they become they became a predominant and gradually pushed off herbal drugs, which had formerly been used into the background, right? So these constituents or these chemical constituents which has been isolated, it has replaced the crude drugs. So people started using the active constituents into the formulation, not to the whole crude drug. So now the time has come where the crude drug has been replaced completely, and whatever the formulation available in that, the active chemical constituents are being incorporated, or particular plant part only it is being used, right? The fourth point under the slide, it was a belief that the medicinal plants are of no importance and can be replaced by man-made synthetic drugs, which is today's scenario is no longer tenable. Means the medicinal plant, it is doesn't have the importance. Instead of using, suppose Nux vomica seed, so seed is known as a medicinal crude drug, right? So the Nux vomica plant, it also have the root, stem, bark, flower, fruit, but only seed is having the medicinal value. So medicine now the people started believing that the medicinal plant, entire plant doesn't have the importance or doesn't have the medicinal properties, no importance, and can be replaced by man-made synthetic drugs. So ultimately, by using these constituents, the people or the pharmacists, they started synthesizing the drugs and designing the drug so that the maximum therapeutic can be achieved. The next point, the drug plants which were rapidly falling into the disuse a century ago are regaining their rightful place in medicine, right? So how they are regaining? Because in middle they started using the active constituents, then ultimately I told you this, the natural products are the role model or the model for the synthetic and semi synthetic drug. So again the medicinal plant become the reference or model to get the what is the actual constants we are getting and how we can design it or how we can synthesize it into the laboratory. That the place they started regaining their rightful place in the medicine. The next point, second last point, today applied science of pharmacognosy has a far better knowledge of the active constituents and their prominent therapeutic activity on the human beings, right? So science of pharmacognosy far better knowledge of the active constants now, because the if the active constants started isolating, and now we are having the number of reference for the what is the main for the anti analgesic activity like morphine, for natural pesticides the nicotine, or for antihypertensive drug reserpine from Rolfia. Like that we have number of reference drugs which we have got from the medicinal plants or animals. So that's what this science of pharmacognosy has a better knowledge now on about the active constituents which we are getting from the herbal drugs or from the plant materials or animal materials. The last point under this slide, the researchers are exploiting not only the classical plants but also related species all over the world that may contain similar type of constituents. So now whoever is involved into the isolation and separation of the active constituents, or we can say the researchers, now they are exploiting not only the classical plants which are being used, but also related species. For example, Smilex gelenica, right? So in Smilex it is the name of the genus and gelenica it is name of the species. So if you talk about the one genus, there will be the hundreds of thousands of different species. So suppose Smilex gelenica is having anti-helminthic activity, for example. So in the same family belonging other plants may also have the same type of activity or similar chemical constants because they belongs to the same family, same genus. So similar family will may have the producing the biosynthesizing the similar types of chemical constants. So they started discovering those plants also, and they started using the those plant also for their isolation purpose, and they have got the lot of other species plant also which is being used for the medicinal purpose. The next slide, under the scope and development of pharmacognosy, the first point, crude drugs of natural origin that is obtained from plants, animals and mineral sources, and their active chemical constants are the core subject matter of pharmacognosy, right? So obviously these crude drugs are from the natural origin like plant, animal and mineral, even microorganism and marine sources, right? So these sources have got the origin for the active chemical constituents, and these are the core subjects matter of the pharmacognosy. When I say the pharmacognosy, these three source, as I told you, the pharmacognosy is the origin of pharmacy, or ultimately whatever the drugs we are studying in our different subjects, these are coming from the one or other origin. So that origin or that source we are going to study. So that is the core subject matter under this subject, right? Second point, these are also used for the treatment of various disease, besides being used in the cosmetics also, textiles also, and even in the food industries, right? So in food industries, like in honey related products, or castor oil, coconut oil, groundnut oil, these are what, these are the medicinal drugs, crude drugs. At the same time, these are being used into the food industries, right? Textile industries, right? For whatever the colors we are seeing in our cloth, whatever the cloth it is being manufactured, these are ultimately source are what, cotton, jute. I given you the example in cosmetics, like so many cosmetics like perfumery. Ultimately, if you will talk about the perfumes and all other fragrance, it is coming from the flowers. Flowers are having the natural fragrance or natural aroma that we are extracting. That perfumes are obtained from the rose or jasmine flower or so many other flowers, right? In like lipstick or powder, talcum, body talc, shaving creams, hair lotion, hair oil, all the cosmetics products, ultimately these are also being used not only into the field of the in the purpose of the therapeutic value, but also cosmetic, textile, and in the food industries, right? Third point under this slide, during the first half of 19th century, apothecaries stocked the crude drugs for the preparation of herbal tea mixture, all kind of tinctures, extracts, and juices, which in turn were employed in preparing medicinal drops, syrups, infusions, ointments, and liniments, right? So before that, herbal tea mixture used to be used, and the kind of tincture, they used to decoct the particular constituents with the help of alcohol or other solvent, different extracts, decoction, aqueous extract generally with the water solvent, and the juice like aloe vera juice or other some orange juice, amla juice, right? So that which in turn were employed in the preparation of the medicinal drop. Now that it has become in the drop or syrup. Now advanced version of the dosage form came, right? Like now if you syrup, what are the requirement? The base, honey added, or the main drug will be there, infusion, the particular type of constituents will be taken out, and the adding the some what do you call, make up the volume, suppose honey or water or some other types which can be suitable with the drug for the administration into the human body. Ointment, what is kind of ointment, base, or so many other you might have prepared in your pharmaceutics laboratory, liniments. So in these kinds of formulation, there will be the one drug or one active constituents, that is called API, active pharmaceutical ingredient, so that they started using, so for the better effect or better what do you call, therapeutic value, right? So uh, the version they have changed, and for the getting the great therapeutic value, they started using the higher version of the formulation or dosage form. Coming to the third slide under the scope and development of pharmacognosy, the first point, lastly, crude drugs and their products are of economical importance and profitable commercial products. So ultimately, the whatever the herbal drug industries like Dabur Private Limited, Himalaya, Jandu, Patanjali, these are the herbal units in India. So they started manufacturing those kinds of formulation what we discussed in the last slide, like medicinal drop, syrup, ointment, right? So if they will go for the large scale production, they need the supply of the medicinal plant materials, right? So it has got the economical importance, and from there only the cultivation and collection of the medicinal plant originated, and a profitable commercial products, whatever the suppose if cold cream is there, so now we are using the cold cream as a Boroplus or Ponds or different brands names are available, right? So if anyone will launch the cold cream, so it should have the better value, whatever the existing products are there in the market. So that's what profitable commercial products that has got its importance. The second point in this slide, when these were collected from the wild sources, the amount collected could only be small and the price commanded was exorbitantly high. So if we are depending completely onto the forest or completely onto the wild source, suppose if you required sandalwood, so sandalwood rarely it will grow into the particular types of forest. So if you will go and visit that forest, you may get only small amount, or you may not get also, because depend on to the weather. If the rainfall will not be there, if the climatic condition doesn't support, so the plant cannot grow and they cannot bear the maximum quantity of the plant material. So it is very difficult. That's what the amount collected could only be small and it cannot fulfill the requirement of the mankinds and for the herbal drug industry also. And the price commanded was very high, right? So if you will get the only small quantity of sandalwood or a small quantity of clove, so the price will automatically high because the supply is not there, so demand will be more for the industry as well as for the common man. Now if you are going to purchase the sandalwood, sometimes you are getting very easily because it is being cultivated now for the commercial purpose. When you will depending before days, in the former days, the people used to depend only onto the forest, so it used to be very difficult. Third point under this slide, this has now changed. All this has this depending onto the forest, all this has now changed. Many of the industrially important species which produced equally large economic profits are cultivated for the large scale crop production. Now even in, if you see the example of Patanjali having their own cultivation, they are not maximum medicinal plant material, they are not purchasing from outside because they don't believe of the quality of the medicinal crop. Because when you are going for the commercial cultivation technique, it is required each and everything scientifically, which I discussed already in my previous class, right? So the soil particle size, water holding capacity, sunlight, fertilizers, manures, harvesting time, everything we need to take care, then only we are going to good quality of constituents. So the people large economic profits are cultivated for the large scale crop production. So now commercial cultivation, it has started worldwide, not only in India. The fourth point under this slide, drug plants, standardized extracts and the therapeutically active pure constituents have become a significant market commodity in the international trade. As I told you that the India is the number one in the spice, right? Like chili or black pepper or other types of spice, whatever that coriander, fennel, right? So now the boom has come that the cultivation for the medicinal crop, it has become a significant market commodity in the international trade, because it is not that the cold cream or any kinds of medicinal plant or medicinal formulation it is manufacturing only in India. So it is being manufactured worldwide, but it is not possible to get the every medicinal plant everywhere, right? As I told you, the medicinal plant have their own agroclimatic requirement, and that medicinal plant can grow at particular location only. For example, coriander doesn't require that much of conditions, it can grow in any season and anywhere. But when it comes to the sandalwood or clove, it can grow at particular island or particular types of climatic condition only. So if it can grow in particular country, for example, coriander can grow only in India, And suppose in US any pharmaceutical industry required a coriander in the large scale, so they will depending on to the India, and they will keep on asking that the supply of the coriander fruit. So it is that's what it has become international trade. So that import and exports of the crude drugs, it has come into the existence, and now it is in boom, right? The last point under this slide, in the light of these glorious facts, scope of pharmacognosy seems to be enormous in the field of medicine, bulk drugs, food supplements, pharmaceutical necessity, pesticides, dyes, tissue culture biotechnology, engineering, and so on, right? So this point it covers the scope of pharmacognosy, right? In the light of these grossier facts, scope of pharmacognosy seems to be the medicine, the bulk drug. The bulk drug means when it will go for the manufacturing, the bulk they require the bulk drug, then only they can incorporate into the dosage form. And food supplements, right? So there are so many food supplements like for example calcium, iron, or what do you call different zinc, magnesium sulfate, magnesium. So ultimately, or some protein, vitamins, carbohydrates. So these food supplements can be supplied only because ultimately we are going to what you call extract it from the plant material. So if it is required to supply this because so many tablets or so many other supplements or substitute we can say that is required for the needy person, those who are age compromised, those who are lacking with the iron deficiency, lacking with the calcium deficiency, they need to have the particular supplements. So that can be extracted and isolated only from the natural source, and from the they can be incorporated into the particular dosage form. Pharmaceutical necessity, right? In the pharmaceutical industries, we can say that whatever the manufacturing it is going on, so they need it is not that the if you isolate the particular chemical constants and it will be easily incorporated into the dosage form. It is required a lot of things. Say for example tablet, so it required a binding agent, binders, right, excipients, raw materials, right, then what you call thickening agent, right? So many things it is required, and ultimately these things it is coming from where? From the natural sources only. If you talk about the any other like syrup or ointment, the basis is required, right, excipient required, lubricant required. So these pharmaceutical necessities, the for manufacturing of different formulations, what are the other thing we need along with the active constituents to incorporate into the suitable dosage form or suitable uh, things which we can administer easily for to get the therapeutic value. So that is also coming from the natural source. Pesticides, nowadays it is the time for the pesticides because different pest means it can be the some animal also, right, from the rat, rabbit, elephant also may be the pest because whatever the thing, whatever the object will damage your crop or damage your medicinal plant, it comes under the pest, right, from the microorganism, bacteria, fungus, virus, right, all those things. So we need to destroy them during the cultivation. If you will not destroy them, they will destroy your plants, right? So these pesticides, we need to understand the life cycle of the pest. If it is larva, pupa, eggs, insect, it may be the some flies, it may be some ants, mite, termite, crabs, snake, anything it may be, right? So we need to understand their body structure, we need to understand their life cycle, and accordingly we are going to design, accordingly we are going to design the medicinal crop, sorry, pesticides. So those pesticides may be different types of what do you call, it come from.
सर वॉइस ब्रेक అవుతుంది सर.
हाँ, ओके ओके. Hello, now you can
Yes,
see me.
sir.
Sorry, slide. The in the last point I was discussing that pesticides, right? So natural pesticide. I told you the nicotine is the pesticide, and it is coming from tobacco. And nicotine is having the activity to kill the different types of virus, fungus in the medicinal plant. So right. So these pesticide now also it is available synthetically, like so many artificial pesticides available, natural pesticides available, right? Then coming to the next point, dyes, natural dyes. So natural dyes means whatever the color it is there in surrounding us, in the paper or in the cloth or in the wall, whatever the color you can see in your home also, those colors are ultimately coming from the plant, natural pigments, that is known as, right? For example, there are so many pigments, like in turmeric is a very good example for yellow color, right? So like that, these dyes are also, or the colors are also, we need to get it from the, even from insect also, from the plant and from the insect. Tissue culture biotechnology, right? So tissue culture means nowadays the peoples are believing onto the hybrid, right? It's the scenario of hybrid. We everywhere we are looking for the fruit, vegetables. We need it should be very good, at the same time it should be, it should have the very good nutrient also. It should look very good and big in size, and with a lot of nutrient, right? So how it is possible? So tissue culture, it is very good important scope in pharmacognosy, where we are designing our plant by thinking its uh, every process, right from the photosynthesis and the biosynthesis, or what are the things they required, how much water they required, what kind of plant growth regulators like auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, abscisic acid, ethylene, what kind of things they required to grow or to biosynthesize the maximum quantity of nutrient, and it should have maximum quantity of active constituents. So that is possible only with the tissue culture, right? So here in the tissue culture we are just growing the any kinds of seed or stolon or any plant part, or whatever the plant part is having the totipotency activity. What is totipotency? It is the it is the capacity of the plant part which can regenerate the new plant. So like that part we are taking, and we are providing the all the nutrient material or nutrient medium, so that the plant will bear the maximum types of constituents or nutrient. So that is possible only with the tissue culture biotechnology. So that we will discuss when the time will come in the another chapter, right? So these are biotechnology, the engineering, right? So the fermentation and all those things. So these all are under the scope of pharmacognosy, where we have discussed about the different parameters. So coming to the next or importance scope and development in pharmacognosy, which is related to your course and your subject, right? So this is the main slide. Scope of doctoral graduates in pharmacognosy is going to increase in the coming years, right? So those who are doctoral graduates, for example, any PhD holder or any PharmD also can be, right? So in pharmacognosy here they have mentioned, right? So some people will do, for example, myself, right? I have done PhD from JNTU Hyderabad. My doctoral degree it is from in the pharmaceutical science, and I covered a maximum pharmacognostical work in different herbal plants or different medicinal plants, right? So the scope of doctoral graduates in pharmacognosy is going to be increased in the coming years, right? The second point, the pharmacognosist would serve in various aspects, right? So who is pharmacognosist? The person who has done the special graduation onto the pharmacognosy, like PhD or M Pharmacy or any other course, right? So they will serve in academics, for example, teaching in college, universities, in museum, drug museum, or in the botanical gardens, like so. a botanical gardens, it doesn't mean that it is a small garden and where the particular person is supplying the water. It is not like that. So when it will go for like Amway company, you might have heard Amway. So Amway, they are having their own cultivation, right? Or Patanjali, I am taking the example of Indian farm. So they will grow the medicinal plants in the scientifically method, right? So that kind of and the private industry, what may be the scope? Private industry, pharmaceutical companies, where the herbal units are there, like Himalaya, Dabur, Jandu, or Himani, right? So in those companies, they required the pharmacognosist, consumer products testing laboratory, right? So whatever the testing laboratories now, quality control testing laboratory is the sense quality control department, where they are going to check the quality or authenticity of the medicinal crop. So nowadays it is the scenario of adulteration or mixing. So it has become the small practice is going on in the herbal drug trade. What they do is, the whatever the costly medicinal plants are there, they will mix the some inferior quality of the crude drug to increase the quantity. These things happening, this adulteration is happening into the rice or grains, or even in so many other items also. But when it comes to the crude drug, ultimately it is going to be used for the therapeutic purpose. So if the adulteration will not be traced out, it is going to be harmful for the patient. So that's what it is very important to tracing the what you call adulterant. So in the testing laboratory and the private commercial testing laboratories, different private commercial like Dr. Reddy or Ranbaxy or Sun Pharma, these are having the even Dabur or Himalaya in Nagpur, right? So the testing laboratories of the herbal products industries. So what are the herbal product industries? This I told you that example, right? Patanjali, now it is the very famous herbal product industries, where whatever the formulation you are going to get, that is comes under the natural or herbal or Ayurvedic, we can say. The cosmetic and perfume industries, like in Uttar Pradesh, there are perfume in so many perfume industries. They are cultivating the roses, the different species of the rose, which can have the maximum aroma in the large scale acres together, like many acres they will cultivate only rose plant, right? So they will they will go for the distillation of the rose petals to get the perfume liquid, and then later on they will isolate and purify those and making to the perfume. Whatever the deodorant now you are having a lot of brand name like fog or engage, many things are you are using, right? So those in cosmetic industries, like so many cosmetic products like Himalaya, Himani, Dabur, right? So these are the things we can have the scope. Coming to the next point, in government sector, till now I was discussing about the private industry. Under government sector, placement in the federal agencies such as the Drug Enforcement Agency. So the agency which will be working onto the drug enforcement, whatever the rules and regulations will come into the drug authorities, for example, price increasing and decreasing, supply, demand, or what are the different schedule of the drugs can be, what licensing authority, right? So the Food and Drug Administration, FDA will have the all the authority. So here I was discussing about the different scope under in the development of pharmacognosy. Here in government sector, I told you that in FDA, also in the US Department of Agriculture, and also there is a scope in the medicinal plant research laboratories, state agencies like forensic laboratories and environmental laboratories, right? So these are the scope where the person can go and conduct the do the service, right? Then undoubtedly the plant kingdoms still holds the large number of species with the medicinal value which have yet to be discovered. So it is not that the whatever the drugs or plant material it is available in our textbook or in the database or in the internet, that many plants only available in the world or in the earth, right? There are so many other plant materials which is yet to be discovered, and we don't know. For example, we know the nicotine from tobacco, but there are so many other species of the Nicotiana tobaccum plant which is not yet discovered, and they may also have the nicotine type of constituents which can be used for further in the natural pesticides or in the antimicrobial activity, right? So that's what there are this large number of species with the medicinal value which have yet to be discovered, right? So that is also very good scope into the research and development in the field of medicinal plant discovery. The last point in this slide, lots of plants were screened for their pharmacological values like hypoglycemic activity, hepatoprotective, hypotensive, anti-inflammatory, anti-fertility, etc. Right? So the pharmacognosist with a multidisciplinary background are able to make the valuable contribution in the field of phytomedicines. Right? So it is not that whatever the hypoglycemic or the drug which is available in the diabetes or into the liver hepatoprotective means the drug which can protect your hepatocytes or liver cells, right? The hypotension, right, low blood pressure, and anti-inflammatory which can act on to the inflammation, or anti-fertility which can increase the which can have the potency on the anti-fertility, right? So these kinds of constituents, whatever the existing constituents we have, it is not that the today that much only it is there in the world. Lot of discovery yet to be happen, and this pharmacological values, this is already reported, but still it will be go on, and when the time will come, now that's what in the COVID-19 situation now we are searching for the so many things. Now the peoples are suggesting in the YouTube or internet or in TV that you should have this kind of kadha, this time of decoction, take the spice or this that. What for? Because the time came now that we are supposed to boost our immunity so that we can fight with the coronavirus. So when the time will come, now so we started searching whatever the existing materials it is there with us, and according to that we are working. So like that in the field of diabetes or in the hypertension or into the inflammatory also, we will be working for the in coming years also, so that we can get the better effect, because whatever the existing formulations or drugs are available, they are not sufficient. Since the new things are arriving into the world, new disease, disorder, virus, bacteria are introducing day by day, so that we also need to be update for the antiviral or antibacterial. Now we need antiviral for COVID-19. Like that we need to understand the situation and we have to work together. So the scope of pharmacognosy and development, it will be go on when the earth is finding its existence of life in it, right? So